There was a trend on YouTube where people were ranking stuff. So ranking TikTok, YouTube channels, ranking the most scandalous moments, ranking the best skincare brands. I'm a few months late to this trend, but I wanted to rank habits of successful people that people recommend online. So I decided to gather a whole bunch of habits of successful people recommendations and rank them and share my opinions on whether these things are in fact life-changing habits of successful people or just kind of like pieces of advice. Take everything that I say in this video with a grain of salt. A lot of it is opinion-based. Let's just get into it. So at the top of our ranking, we have actually life-changing. So that's pretty much anything that is genuinely 100% going to change your life if done consistently. Then there is would recommend. Beneath that, we have look, it depends. We have you do you. And at the very bottom, we have perhaps not. I don't know if any of them will fit into that category. We'll see. So the first thing that we're going to be ranking is the law of attraction. I put this first. I feel like it's a controversial topic and I have some mixed feelings about it. In a podcast that I was listening to the other day, it was the I Weigh podcast by Jamila Jamil. There was someone on it that was talking about how these cancer patients would come in and say because of the law of attraction, they'd been told that they actually attracted this disease. And nothing about that is okay to me. The traditional view of the law of attraction in terms of if I just think positive thoughts, I'll attract positive things. And if I'm thinking negative thoughts, then I'm attracting the negative things in my life. It's a very privileged position to hold. There are aspects of the law of attraction that I can get behind. So some things like you need to expect that good things are coming. I can subscribe to that. By having that mindset of, yeah, I expect that that's something that I can do, I think it also opens your brain up and allows you to start problem solving on that in the background. If your brain doesn't even think it's a possibility, then it's not going to help you and work on it for you. According to Google, there are 7 laws of attraction. There's the law of manifestation, which states that what you focus on, you bring more of into your life. I've talked about this before. I can get behind it. If you are focusing on getting your dream car, you're going to see more opportunities to potentially get your dream car. The second law here is the law of magnetism. So basically our vibrational energy attracts the people and the things and experiences in our lives. Can't get behind that. That says that you attract your high school bullies, you attract people that are predators. There are a few others, but I feel like all of that could take up this entire video. So I think that's gonna go into the look, it depends, because I do know a lot of smart people that promote the law of attraction, and I'm assuming that they're not promoting that you attract all this negativity into your life. I think that they must have different versions of the law of attraction they're promoting, or maybe they promote just aspects of it. But I would say, look, it depends. There are some parts of it that I'm like, yeah, I can get behind that. That's not harmful. But there are some aspects of it that feel like they have the potential to harm. The next is the Pomodoro timer. This came up a few times. I would say the Pomodoro timer is a classic good technique, but needs to also be paired with other stuff really to be effective, because you could use the Pomodoro technique and really not get anything from it if you're not doing it the right way. So I'd say I would recommend it, but I'd also recommend it alongside some other tools. Then we have gratitude journaling. So from what I understand, there are studies showing that consistent gratitude journaling actually raises your levels of optimism. I would also say it's one of those things where you can do it and not get any benefits of it, because some people with gratitude journaling, they'll write down, well, I'm grateful for my friends, I'm grateful for my family, and I'm grateful for my health on a daily basis. And I don't think that's very helpful. I do think that gratitude journaling and thinking of things that you're grateful for in the past 24 hours is more effective than just things that you're grateful for in general, because otherwise you always go back to the same things, and that's when it starts to lose its helpfulness. So I would say yes, would recommend, but probably would recommend doing your research on it, making sure that you're doing it in a way that isn't just kind of useless. Next up, we have meditation. I'm not gonna argue with meditation. I think meditation is a habit of highly successful people. I do think it's usually advertised in one form, so sitting down and doing your traditional meditation, but you can meditate in a lot of different ways. Like there's walking meditation. I think some people, when they are exercising, often have meditative focus as they are exercising. But overall, I would say actually life-changing, because it's been shown that it can actually change your brain. We love things that definitely work, have been studied, have been shown to work. The next one is affirmations. Affirmations, I think, usually pairs hand in hand with law of attraction. I have looked at studies on affirmation, and to be fair, I don't think there are that many, but the ones that they have done have shown that affirmations for people who have low confidence in whatever they are affirming can be harmful. Affirmations for people who are already confident in what they're doing can be helpful. So with affirmations, I would say it's something where it depends. If you're just saying stuff and you're blatantly lying to yourself and you have no no confidence in what you are saying, that's probably not helpful. If you're already pretty confident that you can do something or that you are this person and you're making affirmations on a daily basis and you feel like it's helping, then do it. And with all of these things, that would be my stance. If you find that it's helpful, then do it. So long as you're not harming anyone else when you are practicing it, go for it. Next up, we have visualization. And once again, this is a bit of a law of attraction-y thing, but visualization is used by top sports athletes, and it's been shown that you can practice in your mind and it can have a very similar effect to practicing in real life. Oftentimes, I think people are directed to visualize the end outcome, but from what I know, it's more helpful to actually visualize the process than to visualize and practice in your mind. So I would say it sits in the look, it depends on how you do it. It is deep work. Deep work is a concept that was popularized by Cal Newport, and it promotes the idea of working on something deeply and fully for a period of maybe up to 4 hours in order to get maximum output. And he also talks about deep work in different ways. So you could do deep work by hiding in a forest cabin for 5 days and work deeply. There are different ways to structure your deep work. I would say deep work, oh, does it sit in would recommend or actually life-changing? I think deep work, when you pair it with your chronotype, so if you're someone who wakes up early and that's your time where you're the most focused, you are the most energetic, and you use that time to do deep work, that can be pretty life-changing. I think I'd sit it somewhere in between life-changing and would recommend. Yeah. Also, I think it needs to be paired with really good rest and relaxation. The next one on the list is exercise. Imagine I'm like, you do you. So there's a book that I would recommend for anyone who is interested in exercise. It's called No Sweat, and it has definitely changed my thinking around exercise. Something that I read in this book that really changed the way that I thought about exercise was, despite a widespread general, though unfounded belief that if you work out really hard, you'll get an endorphin rush, a fascinating body of research by leading exercise psychologist, I might say this wrong, Pantelimon Echikakis and his colleagues show that high intensity exercise actually tends to decrease pleasant feelings. Echikakis also found that when people exercise at intensities exceeding the ventilatory threshold, that is, the point at which it becomes hard to hold a conversation without panting, not only do they experience less pleasure, but they can also experience displeasure. And this can be highly demotivating. The author goes on to say, when people decide on their own to exercise at high intensities, they tolerate it better and experience less displeasure compared to when higher intensity exercise is imposed on them. So when you choose to exercise at high intensity levels, fabulous. Overall, if you move in ways that feel good to you, you're more likely to be physically active over time. Clearly, exercise is actually life-changing, and that's been shown over and over again. But I would say find exercises that actually work for you, that you feel good doing, that it feels like you choose to do, rather than you feel like it's being imposed on you in order to actually sustain exercise over time, and also to get the most benefits out of it. Next up, we have the classic to-do list. So I would actually argue that the to-do list is actually useless unless you use it alongside tools like prioritization and goals and a vision. So to-do list is good, but it's kind of just one part of a whole framework of tools that you should be using if you're someone that's looking to really achieve things in life. And I would say, yeah, use your to-do list so that you can remember all the things that you have to do and tick them off. That's fine if you just use it on its own then. But if you're looking to actually like achieve things and grow as a person, a to-do list isn't the answer unless it's paired with other things. So I guess that sits in the, maybe I'm gonna put it in the would recommend and look, it depends. It's gonna be in the middle. The next thing that we have is waking up early. And I feel like you would think that I'd be a big proponent of this because I literally made a video titled How to Wake Up at 5 a.m. I also made a video called 15 Reasons to Wake Up Early, and I just listed nice things about waking up early. But with waking up early, I would say no. I think that that's really generic advice to give and to tell people to wake up early without really knowing them as a person, their body type, how they work. That's just generic, lazy advice. There are plenty of people who are high achievers that wake up late and they do their best work at night. I would say the better advice would be to work with how your body works. If you find that you can still get just as much stuff done at night, then work with it, like if it works for you. So I would say that sits into the perhaps not. It's just too general advice to give people, says the girl who gave that advice like 5 years ago. The next thing on the list is to read a book a week. There were variations of this advice, like read 100 books a year, read a book a day. You guys probably know how I feel about this. I feel like, particularly if you're reading books that are in the self-growth region, reading for the sake of reading is a bit pointless. I have actually made a video that talks all about the selection process for reading books, when you should read a book and when it's kind of pointless, and that is a video called How to Read Self-Help Books or something along those lines. I don't think there's anything wrong with reading a book a week. It's just that is so much information to be shoving at yourself if you're reading the kind of books that are like grow your mind, which a lot of those people that read 100 books a year, they seem to be reading those types of books. And to that I would say you don't have the time to implement it. You're gonna get to a point where everything will blur together. What I think would be more helpful is picking books based on the problems and challenges that you're going through, the goals that you want to achieve, the person that you want to become, taking that book and then actually applying the things in that book to your life, then moving on to the next book. You can read things in the background so long as you know that you're reading them more for motivation and inspiration rather than putting them into action and implementation. For someone like myself that creates content on this stuff, probably makes more sense to read more books, but for the average person, I would just say no. I'm gonna say that goes in the you do you because, you know, you do you. Doesn't bother me if you take that advice, probably bothers me if you give that advice. The next one is taking cold showers every day. I don't know about you, but this advice feels, let's Google this and find out the benefits. So it looks like there are a few health benefits to cold showering every single day. And if you cold shower every day for the health benefits, go for it. But the other side of cold showering is doing it to exercise your willpower, your discipline muscles. So doing something that feels really crap that you don't want to do in the morning. That way you're ready to face the day and do more crap things. I don't know if I have rational justification for this, I just don't like it for that purpose. Fun fact, when I was younger, I had blonde hair and I dyed it dark brown, and the dark brown would never stick because my hair is very, very porous. So it went bright orange, so then I keep on dyeing it brown, trying to keep the brown in, and something that I did was cold shower. I never had warm showers because warm water can suck up stuff out of your pores, or so I read. So I had cold showers all the time, without the intention of increasing my discipline muscle or health benefits or anything along those lines. I just think there are more helpful things to do than take a cold shower, but also it's a very you to you scenario. Like it sounds like it's good for your health in some way, shape or form, but it doesn't really seem like it's hugely impactful, but then it could be one of those mini habits that you really thrive off of. So it's a you to you thing. And the last one, which was so odd for me to read, was quitting caffeine as a habit of highly successful people. I have actually quit caffeine. Wow, what a little humble bragger. If you followed my channel for a while, you'll know that I used to drink coffee, and these days I think I have had like 4 coffees in the last year. I quit coffee because it made me anxious. However, I was talking to my partner the other day. He takes L-theanine with his coffee and that gets rid of the anxiety completely. Things like quitting caffeine always just feel really arbitrary unless there's an actual reason. I think don't quit caffeine if you like caffeine. It makes you feel good and it tastes good to you. Like if there's no harm done in drinking caffeine, so long as you're not drinking like a copious unhealthy amount, keep on drinking your caffeine. Only quit if it like makes you anxious or makes you sick, if there's an actual reason for it. I don't think this is a habit of highly successful people. So I'm gonna put that in the, oh look, most things really belong in the you do you category, really, because it's like if it works for you, do it. Maybe just don't give that advice. So all those things would sit in the I don't think that's good advice to give category, but if it works for you, you do it. If you enjoyed this video, I have a ton of videos more so on the how of productivity, time management, self-growth, rather than just my opinions of them. So I'm going to have a playlist of my best productivity videos on this screen. I appreciate you so very much and I will see you soon.